Hi students, welcome to the PPA Python programming lab session. Okay, so today we'll go through the first few exercises as part of our Python programming lab. Okay, let us have a look at the exercises that we have in Python lab. Okay, I'll show you the exercises. So we have a total of 16 exercises in our lab cycle, among which we need to practice at least 10 programs as per the syllabus. Okay, so anyhow, I'm going to explain all the 16 programs, but when it comes to writing the lab manual or record, it is sufficient to write 10 exercises as per the instructions given in your R20 regulation. Okay, KH20 regulation. Okay, so let us start with the starting exercises. The first exercise is about practicing the basics of Python language. It has two programs. One is running instructions in both interactive interpreter and Python script. So I will show you how to run the instructions in both the modes using the interpreter and also using the Python script. And the second program is to show you how the indentation errors occurs in Python language. So I'll show it by purposefully creating this indentation errors, and then I'll show you how to correct the indentation errors also. So these two comes under exercise 1, the basic programs. And exercise 2 is about the operations, that is performing little computation. It also contains two programs. One is to compute the distance between 2 points using the Pythagorean theorem. That is, distance is equals to square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Using that formula, we are going to calculate the distance between 2 points. We'll write a Python program for doing that. And the second program is illustration of command line arguments. Of course, the topic of command line arguments is not yet completed in Python, but still it's a simple topic which you learned in C language. So I'll explain this topic along with the program. I'll show you how to execute the command line arguments in Python. Okay, so for today's session, we'll focus on these two exercises, exercise 1 and exercise 2. Okay, so let us start with the first exercise. So the exercise is about interactive interpreter and Python script. So we need to run sample instructions in both interactive interpreter and a Python script. Okay, now let us see how to run these two things. Okay, let me show you. So first I will begin with the interactive interpreter. Okay, so if you install the Python into your computer, it shows several ways of executing your Python. One is IDLE, and it contains some documents and manuals also. And there is one more version of executing your Python, that is command prompt. Okay, so through this interactive shell, we can execute the Python programs also. So let us start with the Python shell. So you need to observe the difference. I'm not using IDLE. I'm going to use this Python 3.9, 64-bit command shell. Okay, or else you can go with the IDLE also. So this shows the interactive shell, where the first few things shows a message of the version of the corresponding Python you are using, followed by few information about the Python version and the utilization in your computer. And also it shows a little information about how to get help and copyright information, credits information, and license information. Okay, so you can type help here to get the help information or information about the corresponding uh, Python. Okay, so if you want to run any help here, help followed by, if you want to get help for about any of those okay, it's not showing it. Okay, leave this part of using this help or copyright. So you can get the help about the Python documentation by using this help function, and it is showing the tutorial site https://python.org/3.9/tutorial. You can visit this particular site to get any sort of help about this Python version. Okay. Right. Leave this part of getting the help as of now. Later, I will explain about this help. Okay. So let me start the Python interactive shell again. Okay. So now after getting this interactive shell, you can use this interactive shell to perform any kind of operations like this. If I type 3.4, it is showing 7 as answer, or else you can type any message to see the output, something like this, print of hello, it shows the corresponding output. Or else you can also use kind of expressions. You need to observe one thing, that every time I'm using only one statement with the interactive shell, and suppose I want to use this y is equals to 9, and then I will use z is equals to x plus y, a simple calculation, and then I will display the message print of z. Want to display the result, you can see the result over there. So here every instruction is typed, and then the corresponding output is shown in the corresponding place. Okay. What you need to understand here is Python interpreter interactive shell is a way of doing things using this REPL process. You need to understand what is REPL. This Python interactive shell follows this REPL. R means that read. Okay. So it reads the corresponding instruction, and then it performs evaluation. If any syntax errors are there, it will produce the corresponding error messages. Okay. So evaluate, and then process or print, and finally L stands for loop. So this is continuously done by the Python interpreter. Okay, so whenever you write let us say print of z, it is read by the interpreter, it evaluates it, and then prints it, and then ready for taking the next input here. So this shows the example execution of instructions using the Python interactive shell. Okay, so there is another way of executing our Python programs with the help of script mode. So our first exercise is demonstrating both the interactive shell and script mode. So this is interactive shell mode. Now I will show you how to execute the programs in script mode. Okay. So look at this first program. It is asking to show the demonstration about interactive interpreter. I have shown it now. Now the next part is you need to understand how to write the Python scripts and execute them. Okay. So for this, I will explain a simple method. Let us open any text editor. I'll go with the notepad editor. Okay. So open any text editor, something like notepad, and uh, I will write the Python code, something like hello world. And also I'll write another statement. This is my first script. Okay. Let us save it. While saving this, for example, I want to save this in D drive. Choose some name. Let us say SCR1 I'm using, script1, and save it as under all files. Okay, don't use it as a text file. So while saving, the file name should be given with a .py extension. It is compulsory. So remember this .py. Choose any name followed by .py extension. Just like you saved your C programs with .c extension, you need to save the files with .py extension here. Okay. So now you can save it now using the corresponding name. So what is the name we have given? It is scr1 dot py. Okay. Now I can run this script from the command prompt. Okay. So open the regular command prompt that is used in Windows. Okay. So I have opened the command prompt here and move to the corresponding folder where you saved it. So I saved the program into D. Therefore, I moved into that program. Let us check whether our program is available or not. I saved it as scr1.py. Yes, it is available. It is showing dir scr1.py. I'm testing it. Yes, it is showing. So the program is available in D. So now to run this Python program, use the command Python followed by name of the corresponding script. So what is the name of the script we saved? scr1.py. You need to mention along with the extension also. The command is Python space scr1.py. Okay. So once you run this, see the output. It is showing the two messages, hello world. The first print statement displays this hello world, and then the second print statement displays this. This is my first script. Okay, so this is how you can run your scripts. Okay, with the help of the regular command prompt. Or there is another way of running these command scripts, that is Python scripts. Let me show you that method also. Okay, so open your IDLE. This is a famous way of executing your scripts, and go to file and then select new file. Okay, type your program here. So print off. I'll type the same program which I executed earlier, hello world, and also another print statement. This displays, this is my first script. Okay, so 2 lines of code. Save this. You can save it anywhere. No need to select a drive. I'll select desktop. I'll save this program under Python files. So see it here. Save as type Python files. In such case, you don't need to give any dot extension here. So just mention the name. I'm giving it as scr, sufficient, and save as type is by default Python files. Let us save it. Okay. So now the file is saved. You can now run the script using this run module. That gives you the output as hello world. This is my first script at the interactive shell of IDLE. This is called IDLE shell, where you can open a new file and create your script, run your script. The output is always given at IDLE shell here. Okay, so I have shown 3 ways of running your Python programs. One is using the interactive shell, the basic way of doing it. 2 is the Windows command prompt, and 3 is using IDLE. Okay, so if your programs are very basic, you can go with the first option. If your programs are more than that basic version, basic programs, then go with IDLE shell, where you will create a new file and type in your program, test the programs by running it. Okay, so the three ways of running your Python programs. So this concludes our first exercise. Okay, now the second exercise is write a program to purposefully raise indentation error and correct it. Okay, so I just want to show you what is indentation error. So we all know that Python is a strict indented program. Okay, now I am going to show you how to write Python programs. What is the care you need to take while creating your Python programs? Let us start with IDLE. So whenever you want to write, I'll go with IDLE always. So you also practice the programs using IDLE. Okay, right. So now I just want to show you what is an indentation error. Suppose if I write print of hello, this will print the message hello. There is nothing wrong in it. Now let us see, I'm giving a space. Okay, you can see it here. It is blinking over here. I have given a space purposefully. Now I will write print of hello. Okay, see what happened? Unexpected indentation it is saying. So in Python, unnecessary spaces at the start of your statements should not be given. That is called as indentation error. Okay, so you should avoid such kind of spaces unnecessarily at the beginning of your statement. Okay, right. Now let me take a moderate program to explain this indentation errors. Okay, so I will consider simple if block. Okay, of course you don't know the usage of if blocks and all. I'll see it in the next class, but I just want to show you how if blocks can be constructed. So let us start it with x is equal to 5. Then I will use a if statement. If x greater than 6, okay, print a message x is greater than 6. Okay, or else I'll use 5 greater than 5. X is greater than 5. The message is x is greater than 5. Then I will write else print. If you observe, the indentation is automatically taken by the Python editor, right? X is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so I have typed this program. Now I am saving it on desktop. This is 1B. So I'm giving the same name as 1B. Save it and then run this program. Okay, see, it is x is less than or equals to 5 is the message printed over here. Okay, that's fine because everything I wrote is syntactically correct in Python. It is showing correct answer. Now let me take this print to the starting. Okay, so with this one also I'll take this print statement to the starting. Okay, so if I write something like this, if x greater than 5 followed by a colon, print is written in parallel to if, and else is also written in parallel to if. The print of else statement is also written in parallel to this if. Okay, so everything is at the beginning. Now let us see how it behaves. If I run this program, see it is saying expected an indented black. It is showing the error message. The reason is whenever you write control statements, you should give a proper indentation here. So if black statement should be written a little uh, right towards, that is the statement should be written towards right. It does not matter how many spaces you give, but at least one space is required to indicate the indentation. Okay, so let us give some space here and also some space here. Okay, save it and then run it. So it does not matter how many spaces you give, but space is expected for the control statements to indicate that corresponding indentation. Okay, so I hope you understood it. I have shown the correct program and also the wrong program. I have raised the indentation error purposefully and also I have corrected it. Okay, now let us take another example. X is equal to 5. Okay, and in the next line, I am using a space and I am writing y is equals to 8. What do you think? Is this going to execute? Okay, let us see what will happen. I'm running this module. See, unexpected indent. So you should not give unnecessary spaces at the start of the statement until and unless it expects the corresponding space. Like I have shown the spaces for if black and else black, where the indentation is expected. So you should not give indentation for other statements. Okay, so I will explain later when we discuss about the decision control statements and loop control statements. I will explain how to black those statements and all. Okay, so until then, what you need to understand is indentation must be towards the extreme left. There should be no spaces left at the beginning of any statement except for the blocks designed for control statements. Okay, so now you can check this by running it. I removed that space at the beginning. It will execute now. There are no errors, but I did not print anything over there. Therefore, no output is produced by this particular program. Okay, so that is about the 1B, exercise 1B. I hope you understood that program, right? Okay, now let us move on to the third exercise, that is exercise 2. Little more practice. 2A is about write a program to compute the distance between 2 points, taking input from the user. Okay, let us solve this program now. Again, I will use that ideally. I will open a new file whenever I want to type more than one statement or more statements to be grouped. I will go with the ideally and I will open a new file. Okay, I'm just showing this. Let us make it as a comment. So this will show you the program which we are going to solve. Okay, so this is the program I am going to solve. Write a program to compute distance between 2 points. So how do you solve this? 2 points, that means x1 comma y1. I will assume that as the first point. Okay, so the first point is x1 comma y1. So I'll assume the first point as x1 comma y1 and the second point as x2 comma y2. I'm just commenting it, but to understand, I'm just writing it like that. Okay, so I'm going to read like this. I will ask the user to enter the first point and I will store the values into x1 comma y1. Then I will ask the user to enter the second point. Then I will store them into x2 comma y2. Okay, so let us start our actual program, right? So how do you ask the user to enter the first point? X1 comma Y1 is equal to, how do you ask? Input of the message should be enter the first point. Okay, this should be the message. And because we know that input function reads the information from the keyboard as a string, but we expect it as a number here. Okay, so I'm going to typecast it int of, and maybe because this is the first program, I don't want to use multiple statements here. I'll use only one. So enter the first point, and I'll call it as x1. Then copy this, paste it. This time I will ask the user about the y1. Okay, so x1 comma y1 is the first point, right? So now I got the first point. I'll copy this x1 and y1. I'll use the same message. This time it is enter the second point. Okay, so x2 comma y2. This is second point, and here also second point. I need to change the names here. This should be x2 and this should be y2. So now I got x1 comma y1 and x2 comma y2. Now the distance between 2 points will be calculated as square root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So the result should be calculated like that. So before I apply square root, I just want to calculate that total distance. Let us call the result as this, representing the distance. This is equals to x2 minus x1 whole square. The formula goes like this: x2 minus x1 whole square. So how do you write square to the power 2, right? So exponent 2. 2 stars means it is exponent 2. So this is x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square I want to write. So y2 minus y1 whole square. That means star star 2. This will calculate the value of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square, which is kept inside this. Okay. Now I want to find out square root of this. Okay, which gives us the final result. So how do you calculate that square root? For that, the final result underscore this is equal to, you need to calculate like this: math dot, the function is sqrt. You should use that math dot sqrt and then pass that this value. So this calculates square root of the calculated this value, that is x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. So once you get this result, you can print it by using a print statement. Print distance between 2 points is given points is, okay, comma, it is in result underscore this. I hope I wrote the program properly, but you need to observe this particular math.sqrt. In order to use this function, you should import this package. So forget about how to import the modules and all. I will explain it in the first unit. Theory part is not yet completed, but remember that you can import any module in Python by using this statement: import, okay, Import is the keyword you need to use to download or import any module or package into your particular program, right? So I have imported this because I want to use that sqrt function as part of my program. Okay, so utilize this. You need to import this particular module, right? So I wrote the program for calculation. Now let us save it as 2a. I'm saving it as 2a. Okay, on desktop. Now run this program by using run module here. It is asking enter the first point x1. Okay, so I'm giving 5, and the second point that is y1 is giving 8. So the first point is 5 comma 8. Okay, and the second point I'll give it as 10 comma 3. The distance between the given 2 points is, it is saying 7.07, something like that. You can calculate it manually and verify the answer. Okay, square root of 10 minus 5 whole square plus 3 minus 8 whole square. That means 5 square plus 5 square, that is 50. Square root of 50 is 7. Okay, so it is giving correct answer, 7 point something. Okay, so this is how you can execute your program, that is calculation of distance between given 2 points like this, right? Okay, so all of you practice this program by opening your IDLE, and then let us move on to the next program. So we have completed 2A. Now 2B. 2B is about write a program add.py. He is giving the name of that program also, that takes two numbers as command line arguments and prints its sum. So we need to demonstrate the command line arguments now. Okay. So for showing that command line arguments, let us use that Windows command line, which requires a notepad editor. So I'm opening the notepad editor, just like I have shown it earlier. And is it recording? So open a notepad editor like this, and then let's type some program, whatever program you wanted to run using command line arguments, but it is given like this program must be done. Okay, so what is that program here? It is showing write a program to add two numbers from the command line argument. Okay, so I'll make it as a comment by using this hash symbol. Okay, now so for this, what you need to do is you require a special package called as sys. Okay, so import sys, and then you need to get the arguments. Okay, as let us say a1 is equal to sys dot, let me see the syntax. Actually, we don't use this command line arguments regularly, so this is what we are going to see. The first argument is saved as arg of 0, but I want the arguments from 1 itself, that is arg of 1 gives you the first number, but it reads the corresponding input as a string, so you need to convert it into an integer by using a typecasting operation like this. Okay, so this one a1 is equals to int of sys.arg of 1 reads the first number. Okay, let us use the second number also, use the same syntax. but this time sys.arg of 2. This reads the second number. So sys.arg of 0 will be your Python program name. So we are going to save this file as add.py. Okay. So that comes under arg of 0. And then we'll send two numbers followed by this name, which are stored into arg of 1 and arg of 2. Okay. So int of sys.arg of 1 reads the first number, converts it into integer, and stores into A1. A2 is equal to int of sys.arg of 2 reads the second number and converts it into integer and stores into A2. So now we got the two numbers. Okay. Now let us calculate the sum of these two numbers. So sum is equals to A1 plus A2. Then use a print statement to display the message. Print sum of given numbers is, okay, sum of given numbers is, comma, the result is available in sum, right? So this is the program I wanted to test, and I should save this program as add.py. No other options. Okay. Now let us save it as add.py. I will save it into the D drive. Okay. So this time I'm selecting D drive. Into D drive, the file name should be add.py, and change this to all files. Don't use it as a text document. You should give that .py extension because we are testing this program under Windows environment. Okay. So I'm saving it. Add.py is now saved into D drive, right? Okay, let us see how to do this. The second thing is, once you created your program, next thing is you need to open the command prompt of Windows by typing cmd. Okay, then move to your drive where you saved your program. So I saved the program into D drive. Therefore, I just moved to D by typing D colon. Okay, you can use any other file name. If you want to save it into a folder, use that entire path. Okay, or else just use the drive name, and then using cd you can move to the corresponding folder. So now I directly saved the program into D. I think you remember the file name as add.py. Okay, so now to run this program, use the command python. Okay, then the file name is add.py followed by any two numbers. Sorry, command is not required. You can directly use add.py space what is it saying? Arg of 1. Sorry, argv it is. So our program is actually wrong. Let me open the folder. I need to correct it first. I typed it wrongly. This is our program. Let me open it using the notepad to correct it again. Okay, select this notepad. This is our program. I wrongly typed it as arg. It should be argv. Okay, sys.argv of 1, sys.argv of 2. So don't worry, even if you do not understand these command line arguments, I will explain this in the theoretical part. Then you will understand this is a simple program. Okay, so I'm saving it. So as of now, because we did not cover this topic in theory, maybe you do not understand this. Okay, so now let us run this program. You can see it now. add.py space 10 space 20. The first one goes to the argv of 0, and the remaining two, 10 and 20, is argv of 1, argv of 2. Okay. So what you need to understand here is how these command line arguments are stored. The syntax is you need to use the name of the corresponding Python file as the command. So add.py followed by the numbers which you want to send. You can send any number of values here, and then you can read them using argv of the corresponding index. Okay, so you need to understand the indexes here. The index of the first one is 0. So add.py takes the index 0, and then onwards, whatever number of arguments you give, the indexes continues like this. Separated by spaces, you are going to give the values. Okay, so the number of indexes, and the indexes continues like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, so on. You can give any number of arguments here, and you can read them as argv of corresponding index. It should be argv of corresponding index. Whatever index you want to read, you can give it like this. Argv of will get the corresponding value. That means argv of 1 refers to this particular value, argv of 2 refers to this particular value, argv of 3 refers to this particular value, and so on. And another thing you need to remember about command line arguments is whenever you read argv of some value here, it is read as a string. So argv of I is always going to read the data as a string type, okay, str type. But because you want to read them as numbers, we are using the conversion. Okay, so we are using that conversion, the typecasting in our program. See it, int of sys.argv of 1 reads it as a string. Okay, that means it reads the corresponding number in the form of string. So even though user enters 10, it is taken as a 10 in double quotes or single quotes. What does that mean? 10 in double quotes or single quotes means that it is a string. So you can convert this string into a number that stores into A1 by typecasting it with the corresponding type you want. If you want to convert this number into float, use float here. Okay, because I wanted it as an integer, I used it int of for typecasting. So what will happen is string 10 is now converted into a number 10. Understand the difference between these two. This is string 10, this is a number 10. Okay, so even more you can understand if it is strings, if you perform addition operation on strings as I explained earlier, the result is going to be the concatenation. That means if you do not typecast them with the integer, it will perform 10 plus 20 like this as strings. And what will be the result? It is going to be a string value that is concatenated like this, 10, 20. So you will get the result as 10, 20, not 30. Again, it is a string. This will happen. Just remove that int of here. You will see the output as 10, 20 for the given input. Okay. But if you want to add the actual values, you need to remove these strings. For that purpose, you need to typecast. Okay. So this is how the command line arguments can be tested with the Windows command prompt. Okay. Yeah, that is what I want to explain today. We covered two exercises, 1A, 1B, and 2A, 2B. I'll stop it here for today's lab session. You practice these four things with the examples given here. Okay, and I'll continue with the remaining programs in our next lab session. Okay, thank you all for your patient listening. See you in the next lab session. Thank you.